All right, we're going to be doing some clutch service inspection on a 2006 KFX 80. Just one of many things to do on these older bikes. It does run, it runs fine. I've had it for about a year. My daughter rides it for now. She's 7, so she doesn't ride too hard, but still learning, but she does fine on it. So gonna do some clutch service. Was told and read on the forums that that's something that's recommended to go ahead and check out often, or uh, I don't know. Anywho, but because I bought this used, wasn't sure, figured I'd finally do it. So started knocking that out this weekend, and to get to this point, which is I'm going to make a stopping point for the day. I'm also doing a few more things while I have it up on the stand, so that's why you'll see in some of my videos some extra parts and stuff taken off and moved around that it's not necessary. Anywho, to take the clutch cover off to get to the clutches, a couple things need to happen. Take the rear fenders off, super easy. A couple bolts here and there. And then take your left rear off. That just creates more space. Allows you to access it and not have to run into anything. If you want, you might want to take off the fender brackets that hold them on. They're not in the way, but I've already hit them a few times just from moving around and this and that. So, easy, but not necessary. I'm not, just to save time, but they are in the way at times. Anywho, next, once you get the fenders and wheel off, you'll want to work on the foot pegs because they are in your way. Two things need to happen there. First, you need to take off the rear brackets for the foot pegs, and it's just 2 bolts on each side. One on the end of the foot peg, as you can see there. Sorry for the light, terrible lighting in my garage. And I can't use any natural daylight because it's super windy and cold outside. So you got one there and one right there. So 2 on each side. It takes the rear bracket off. And then after that, there are 2 bolts that hold this whole foot peg bracket on both sides onto the frame. And they are located down there. There's one on each side. The other one can't see right now. So you need to take both of those off from both sides. And then what you can do is you can move this up, and it'll take some finagling to get it there. And what that does, it just gets it out of your way because there are some bolts for the clutch cover that are behind this. So move that out of your way. And then you pretty much, after you do all those things, you'll have free access to the clutch cover. In which case, between the recoil starter and the clutch cover, I think there's 15 total bolts of different shapes and sizes. So once you get all those out, this is what I did. Drew myself a little diagram, such the artist, with the holes on about where they're located, and then I have that laid out right now. That way I don't forget which one goes where. Kind of helps out. There's a recoil starter, clutch cover. You'll have to obviously clean the gasket material off all sides. Don't forget to do that. And once you get to that point where you have all the bolts out, what I had to do is there are about 3 tabs that I had access to on the top and about 3 on the bottom. In which case you'll have to go to the opposite side of the engine of the quad. And I used a rubber mallet and my longest ratchet extension, and I just tapped it at all 6 locations, just to bust it loose a little bit at a time. I didn't want to break anything. So that's what I had to do. I took my time. It did take some time. If there's other methods out there or easier ways, then so be it. But that's what I was working with, and it worked. And then once I started seeing daylight, when the cover started getting off, I'd use a screwdriver just to kind of pry a little bit here and there from that, get some of that more sticky gasket material, which it was. And then I think my biggest problem, which if this has not been done to your quad in a while, you may find yourself in a similar situation to which there's two dowel pins, one on the top close to the carburetor on the clutch cover side, and then one right underneath the rear clutch. So they're definitely rusted. I have to get some new ones. There is the hole for the top one. As you can see, there is some rust in there. And then that one came out on the clutch cover side, and then this bottom one stayed on the casing on the mount, so that one you can kind of see a little rust. So to get those out, replace those are probably what hung me up once I got to a certain point of trying to get the cover off. I did hit it with some PB Blaster, and so that helped. So yeah, that is how to get the clutch cover off. So a couple things need to happen: fenders, rear left wheel, and then the foot pegs. Once you just give yourself a good working area, it's worth the time to do that. There might be another way around it, who knows, but then you get all the bolts off and then start prying it loose. And then I'll start tearing into the clutches at a different time in a different video. And from what I've been told, and due to me asking, how does this work, what do I need to know, it's a few things to look at, which I'll explain later. And then it's a simple job when it comes to the rollers and this and that. But one of the guys that is very, very helpful on the forums that I've talked to, he says, while it's a fairly simple job, it is very tedious because of the cleaning. Lots and lots of cleaning, and that's what takes the longest. So, as you can see that dirt down in there on the casing. Yeah, I'm going to try to get as much of that out as I can. So, see what happens. Until next time.